Hey gun people, I just did a video and I'm going to put it in this video about picking a jury trial versus a bench trial or just a judge. These protests, I'm getting conflicting info because you can't tell what you get from the media. At first I heard it was a new black DA that charged him after the other DA and the feds refused to prosecute. Now I'm reading different sources that says the outgoing DA who didn't prosecute 5 years ago went ahead and filed charges before she went out, so she wouldn't have to take the heat. And now the new prosecutor, who I think is a black female, which I don't know, different reports. But regardless of the fact, I said a couple things in the other video that I thought were true, and it may not be true. So I don't know what the facts are on this, but I discuss about why it's important for innocent people to take the stand and why picking a bench trial with just a judge, if you're innocent, is much better. So let's go ahead and get to that video. Hey on people, let me talk about this writing in I thought I was going to be in shade over here, but not so much. So let the sun get that way a little bit. So let's talk about this writing here in St. Louis, and we're going to discuss a jury trial versus a judge. And I've covered this in I think another video. I can't remember how long ago or what I called it. So why are they rioting in St. Louis? Everybody's going to say, oh, because a cop shot a black kid. Yeah, okay, that may be true. They're rioting over a case that happened 6 years ago. So 6 years ago, these cops, and I think one of them was black, are chasing these black kids hanging out behind, I think, a Churchy's Chicken or something, up to no good doing a drug deal. Somehow they know these guys are heroin drug dealers. They pull around a corner, guys take off, they get in a pursuit. Cops chase them, exchange a gunfire, they're shooting at the cops shooting at them. The cop, who's smart in my book, carries an AK-47 in the trunk of his car because the agency doesn't give him long guns. All he's got's a pistol. He knows he's in a shit area, so he carries firepower equal so he can defend himself. So after they do a shootout, the guy wrecks or crashes and they have to go up to the car. Well, he grabs his AK and goes up to the car. Well, the suspect shoots, has a gun, reaches for the gun. I don't think he shoots. I think he reaches for the gun after they tell him not to move, and the cop ends up shooting him and killing him. So when this happened 6 years ago, the DA at the time said, I ain't charging. There's nothing here. The guy was shooting at him. They were convicted heroin dealers. They shot at the cop. Nothing to see here. I'm not charging the guy. Called in the FBI, because when the locals ain't got a case, they always call in the FBI. FBI looked at it and went, we ain't charging this. There's nothing here. They walked away. Guess what? They weren't happy. They told the police department, get rid of this guy, even though we can't charge him. So they got him for a policy violation of carrying an unlawful gun to protect himself while on duty. The AK was not approved by the department. Therefore, he carried an unlawful gun. They fired him. He got out of law enforcement, moved down to Houston, got a job on the oil rigs, doing fine, minding his own business. 5 years later, a black female quota hire gets elected to the DA over there. 5 years later, after two other jurisdictions said there's nothing here, she says, white man, and she charges him with murder. Why'd she charge him with murder? Because there's no statute of limitations on murder. So if you charge somebody with murder, I can come after you 10 years later, 20 years later, 30 years later, I can come charge you. So she came after him, charged him with murder. Sent St. Louis cops down, or Detroit cops, whoever they were, down to Houston, hooked him up, and brought him back up there and charged him with murder. The only way that they approved him to get bail is if he had to stay in St. Louis. He couldn't leave. Guy had to quit his job, had to rent a place up there. In order to get out of jail, he had to rent a little apartment, live like crap, mess up his life for an entire year after he left, after they fired him on some bogus BS. Brought him back there, charged him, and the guy picked a judge instead of a jury trial. Now people will say, why would you do that? With a jury trial, you have 12 people you got to convict. With a judge, you only got one. There's a saying in the legal profession, in the legal area, innocent people pick judges. Guilty people pick juries. Because with a jury, you can confuse one or two, you can play the game, you can juggle, you can get the judge to suppress some things, you can get the judge to hide a few things here and not allow this, prejudicial. You can totally manipulate the system with a jury and confuse them and bring up stuff that you really can't do with a judge, because the judge gets it all. You know, things that juries can't hear, the judge knows. If somebody makes a statement and it's really hurts them, judge knows. The jury may never know. If he beat his wife 14 times and had 4 restraining orders because of his prior criminal history, jury won't know. The judge will know. So the judge knows everything. That's why they say innocent people pick a judge trial or a bench trial, because when the judge gives his verdict, he has everything. Nothing's suppressed, nothing's hidden. There's no shucking and driving between the two attorneys trying to impress the juries, trying to impress the people and the judge, trying to impress the cameras. Objection, Your Honor, how can he? There ain't none of that in a bench trial, because the judge will look at the lawyers and go, what the hell are you doing? There ain't no jury here. Quit acting like a fool. You know damn well that ain't no problem, and I already know it. So the reason why this guy picked the judge was smart. He was innocent. Well, this judge found him innocent. And not only that, when you pick a jury trial, you may have 11 people that say you're not guilty. And if you're a white guy and one black person says, I don't care, I'm voting guilty because he's white and I don't like whitey, that's not racist. So if that person does that, guess what? The state can come back and charge you again because you weren't acquitted. You either have to get a unanimous acquittal, all 12 jurors have to say not guilty in order to stop the state from coming, and even then, the government has found a way around the Constitution of double jeopardy and said the feds don't count for double jeopardy. That's the biggest BS I ever heard in my freaking life. The whole point of having the government have one bite at the apple, government cannot get their ducks in line and ruin your life and keep coming after you. That's the purpose behind double jeopardy. The wind picked up because I came out here. It wasn't blowing out a few minutes ago. I started filming, the wind's blowing. So anyway, that's what the riots are about. This judge said, this guy ain't guilty. I ain't charging him. And because he's acquitted, now that crooked DA that went after him 6 years later because of his color, because that's what it was about. She's a black woman. He's a white officer. We're going to show Whitey. We're going to get Whitey. We're going to tear down all Whitey statues. We're going to show everybody that we can be just as stupid, as ignorant as anyone else. And now she can't, because the judge acquitted him, because it only takes one vote from the judge to get an acquittal, because there ain't no hung jury with a judge or a bench trial. You're either guilty or innocent. And the judge found him innocent, and he was set free, and the prosecutor can't come back after him, even though they cost him a life and a year. So, I mean, it's a horrible thing, but you need to know, if you're truly innocent, you need to get you a bench trial. And, you know, when you see, you know, they always say, well, it has a right now to take the stand. I'm telling you, innocent people take the stand. Guilty people do not take the stand. They say, I claim the fifth. And they're going to say, my lawyer has advised me not to take it. And I don't have to take it because my lawyer, and that's a cover, and it's a shroud, and it's BS. If you don't get up on a stand and face the music and answer the tough questions, then you got something to hide. And the jury usually figures that out. Even though they're told you can't use that against the person for not taking a stand. That's his right. You can use it against him because if he ain't taking a stand, he's guilty. There's something that he don't want you to know. Because if I don't take a stand, the DA can't let the jury know a whole bunch of things that the judge knows, like maybe my criminal history, my prior rapes, my prior whatever. They can't get any of that to the jury, and the jury will never know. But if I take that stand, the DA can ask me about it. And if he does, and I lie, he can get in all kind of stuff and impeach me. So if I take the stand in front of a jury, I got to tell the truth or I risk being called a liar and then they'll vote me guilty. I gotta be willing to taste the hard questions And I gotta be willing to say that I ain't guilty, and I don't care what you say, and explain things away. So people that don't take the stand, I know there's gonna be cops and lawyers. It's your right, it shouldn't matter, you shouldn't have to. I don't buy it. I've been a cop, I've watched a lot of juries, I've picked juries, I've seen juries. I'm telling you, if you don't take the stand and you're innocent, don't come crying when you're found guilty, because you should have got your butt up on a stand and said, you know what? I didn't do it. Ask me what you want. I got nothing to hide. So anyway, that's what's happening in St. Louis. It's BS. Nobody's going to tell you that. You're not going to get that from the left-wing liberal media, because they want to run the agenda. Oh, another poor black man got killed by a white cop. Oh, yeah, he was a heroin dealer. He had prior heroin dealers. He had a gun. He was shooting at the cops. No, don't listen to that. Just listen to the brand new black DA got in, and she's going to right this wrong and charge a white cop who was fired 5 years ago when 2 other attorneys refused to prosecute, but she's going to bring him down, ruin his life, and charge him just to show the man. Yeah, yay, Black Lives Matter. Freaking idiots.